friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. Buddy, do you think you can whoop me right now?
When you say define that, because I want to give you a clear answer. Define what that means.
Do you think you can make me tap out right now?
Let's say it like this, Craig. I don't like to brag or boast, but I tell you what, if you want to pick on me, there's going to be some furniture moving here.
I'm not picking on you, man.
Oh no, we have the whole area where Gasagi practices every Sunday, right over here.
There's going to be some furniture moving.
I just asked a question.
I know it's just concrete, but I've got some AstroTurf we can pull out.
Yeah.
And I got the guys down here at Flurry Fitness. They can bring some gloves.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you just like I tell everybody else. I may not win, but at the end, you're going to know you were in a fight.
He's geared up too, bro.
I'm telling you, man, he is ready to go.
When's the last time you had a hearing test?
What?
Exactly. Craig made it to the scene of the podcast before the police. Is that typical of the
Yeah,
police
absolutely.
department?
I'm set up and ready for that. That's good. I got an answer for it already.
Some of our listeners voted on what question should we ask the Fort Worth police officer. Our number one question, with the cost associated with all the lights on the squad cars.
Uh-huh.
Is that why y'all didn't have money in your budget for blinkers?
For blinkers, so emergency, I'll tell you that, and I'm good. You better be ready because I've got snarky answers for
Good. You can find the Fort Worth Roots podcast on all of your favorite streaming services, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many more. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. Today's episode is one that we have been trying to put together for 4 years. We finally got the Fort Worth Fire Department and the Fort Worth Police Department in the same room at the same time for an awesome recording. And I'm really excited about this one, and I hope you guys can appreciate it as much as I do. Real quick, at the beginning of the episode, we always like to talk about one of our sponsors, the Body Scrubbery, located at 519 Pennsylvania Avenue, right here in Fort Worth, Texas. You can find them online at thebodyscrubbery.com. It's a boutique and unique spa experience. Taglines: don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. They offer luxury foot spa, full body scrubs, infrared heat wraps, massage bubble tub, mud wraps, facials, couples packages, and small group parties. Go online and check this place out. Hit the drop-down menu on the upper right corner and find the Book Now tab. That's the Body Scrubbery. Big thank you to all of our sponsors, and we'll talk more about our awesome sponsors at the end of this episode, so make sure you stay tuned for that. You're going to catch a little hostility at the beginning of this, but I promise you it's all fake. These guys work together very closely in very intense situations, and they've been doing it together for a very long time. Don't let the back and forth banter alarm you. These guys know each other, and they're friends. If you're listening to this today and you have a 501c or you have a department inside the city of Fort Worth and you'd like to come on the Fort Worth Roots podcast to do a recording with us, hit us up, email media@fortworthroots.com. And I think I said it in this episode, I can't really remember, but we are trying to get a hold of Mayor Maddie Parker. This is somebody that's very important to the city of Fort Worth, and we would love to get the opportunity to record with her at some point in the very near future. So if you know Mayor Maddie Parker, let her know. We've been sending emails. A big thank you to the Fort Worth Fire Department and the Fort Worth Police Department. Ladies and gentlemen, that's enough talking out of me. Please give it up for our friend Craig Trojacek with the Fort Worth Fire Department and Buddy Calzada with the Fort Worth Police Department. And let's start the show! All right, thank you for joining us. We're here with Craig with the Fort Worth Fire Department and Buddy Calzada. I said it right.
Absolutely,
Okay.
You hit it.
Okay. Right off the bat, we've already had Craig on the show once before. Say hi, Craig.
What's up?
You're being all quiet over there. It's freaking me out.
I'm nervous.
He's comfortable. He ain't nervous. He's comfortable.
I'm kind of laid back. I'm a fireman. I'm used to,
Sitting around?
chill back, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'm glad you brought that up because we last episode we were talking about this. Craig with the Fort Worth Fire Department beat you guys to the Fort Worth Roots podcast, and we did have a Fort Worth police officer scheduled to be there. So,
Okay.
well,
Keep in mind, they are always first, but keep in mind what he was first for. He was first for sitting down, talking. And I apologize from the heart of the Fort Worth Police Department. I apologize that we were out there answering emergency calls while Craig had time to sit down, but it's just what we do. the general public knows that. Craig knows that. And now you're privileged to know it as well. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being here.
Sure.
Glad to be here.
All right.
Sounds like it.
And before we get into it any further, Craig, you got to remind people your position with the Fort Worth Fire Department.
So my rank is that of an engineer. So if I'm out on the streets, I'm driving the trucks. But my official title now is Public Information Officer. So it's kind of fun stuff I get to do from time to time, and we try to bring what knowledge that we need to push out to the communities and to the public for safety reasons or positivity or anything like that. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. And whenever we sat down the first time, you'd been PIO for just months?
Yeah, I think the first time it wasn't that long. I still feel like it's not been that long. But next month will be, I think, 2 years now. And I was probably more confident the first time I walked in here than I am now. So life's good.
Well, now you know all the things you don't know, right?
Well, they're still coming, but I'm further down the road for sure.
And, Buddy, what's your position?
So I'm also a public information officer. I'm one of the different ones we have on our unit. So I do public information. We get answers out to the media. They see police coming through a neighborhood. They have generic questions or general questions they want to ask. And for me, the easiest thing to answer in the world is a question. So that's what we're here for. We're here to provide that information, let them know what the police are doing, what we may have done on a past incident, and why we're doing it.
Excellent. It does sound like you've been asked these questions and had to give some input. These sound very well rehearsrsed.
No, I've watched all your podcasts, and that's what
every
made
one
me,
of them.
Every single one of them. All 186.
My biggest fan.
All 183, 180. A lot.
Yeah.
He's close. It's 190. It's really close.
So, but I'm 4-way, so it's kind of like watching Yellowstone. I'm just kind of caught right there at the end and waiting to finish it out.
Do they still have episodes coming out for Yellowstone?
They're supposed to. You never really know. Yellowstone stopped at season 5, and I should have 5.5, maybe 5.4, somewhere around there. And so I'm stuck waiting just like everybody else is.
I quit watching Yellowstone when they switched networks.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? I think it was season 4.
Yeah.
They switched to a different network, and I went, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
You just got to be a little patient. It'll come out. Speaking of Yellowstone, we had the privilege yesterday. I spent half the morning with Cole Hauser.
Yeah. That's Beth's guy. Who's Cole Hauser? Which one does he play?
He's known as Beth's guy or Rip Wheeler.
Rip Wheeler.
However you want to put it. Yeah. Beth's guy is known as well.
It's been a minute.
That's right.
Sorry.
Yeah, ever since they switched networks.
Yeah. Sorry, not watching. I'll wait for DVDs.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's a DVD?
Couldn't tell you.
I know.
All right, so Craig, last recording was a year ago. That was episode 138 out of 190.
Wow.
We talked about your career, the different positions on the truck, life at the firehouse, and we got into some of your personal stories.
Yes, sir.
And so and I would like people to go back and check that out, but the only thing we need to follow up on to recap that episode is Polka. May in Ennis is Mayfest, is that right?
Well, it's not Mayfest, it's Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, that's right.
It's the last, so this year, I'm trying to think, I don't know the dates, but it's the last weekend of the month.
You didn't know the dates last year either.
Well,
I thought he would have came more prepared this time.
You think so?
No.
Well, but I thought, I'm here to kind of promote the fire department, and I didn't want to get chewed out by Chief for promoting.
Yeah, so why not
Polka.
leave out some of the information? That's sharp.
3 days.
You learned that in PIO school, didn't you?
3 days, multiple locations, 15 polka bands. It's a good time, parades.
Who's your favorite band?
Well, Brave Combo seems to be the...
Brave Combo?
Yeah.
So they're brave and what? What's the combo?
Yeah, what's the combo part?
I guess just several different dudes out there poking, man. See, this is why I don't like this kind of stuff, especially with you, buddy, because then it's all this. I just came here to, you got
I'm listening to you, man. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Break it up.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for being here, though. We've wanted to get you on the show for a long time. We tried with the fire department. We had a kind of a wish list, and it started with Betsy Price, and right under that, side by side, not one above the other, was the fire department and police department.
We know what you're saying.
Picking up what you're throwing down.
But I know this is a sacrifice of time for you guys, and that's not lost on me. So thank you for doing this.
Yes, sir.
And so we know Craig's got the polka thing covered. We've mentioned that. How did you get started as a peace officer?
Police officer. So I've been serving my city. Ran a nonprofit for 25 years. Just going out, we go into the high crime, high drug areas. We take a big old stage, and we just challenge kids to stay off of drugs, respect the police, and have hope in their life. And so I've done that for the last 25 years, and I spent so much time taking care of the city and other families that I realized, in a nonprofit, it's easy to raise money to give away 500 to 1,000 turkeys. It's easy to raise money. We got a shoe event coming up. The shoe event we have coming up, it's easy to get 1,000 pair of shoes donated. But when you look on the personal end of my daughter wanting to go to school, when you look at a retirement, how do you get in front of a nonprofit and say, hey, yeah, we're raising money now for a scholarship for my daughter to go to college? And I realized we didn't have the savings. We didn't have the tools there to take care of my own family, while all along I've been taking care of everybody else's family. So I wanted a way to continue to serve my city and be able to impact lives in Fort Worth and still be able to take care of my family. And joining the Fort Worth Police Department has allowed that.
Okay, so that 501c that you're talking about, that's a chapter behind you. You're done with that?
No, my wife is now the executive director, so I'm got my hands full in it just as well too.
Okay.
We were out just this past Monday. We usually go out every Monday and Saturday into specific strategic areas here in Fort Worth.
That's incredible. Can I ask what the name of the organization
Fort Worth
is?
Metro.
Okay.
Makes it real nice and easy. You can go to fortworthmetro.org and see some of the things we're talking about with the shoes that are coming up.
Okay.
It's a cool deal. It's as real as it gets. When you tell somebody you want to take care of them, you either take care of them, in my interpretation, to the fullest extreme, or you don't take care of them at all. So like these kids and the families that are coming out, we're actually going to, we got brand new pair of socks and brand new pair of shoes. So you will see me in my full police uniform, washing kids' feet, putting on a brand new pair of socks, brand new pair of shoes, and walking away with nothing from them. In other words, I'm not there so I can take something from the community. I'm there to create miniature lighthouses so that they can shine in their neighborhoods.
That's awesome, man. We'll make sure that organization is listed in the show notes, so if people didn't write it down, they can find it in the show notes.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. I'm going to definitely want to have maybe you and your wife on to talk maybe just about that organization.
Absolutely.
How did you get started as a peace officer? We just covered that.
So I will tell you this, and so getting started as a police officer, it wasn't like I just made a mental switch and wanted to do this. There was a lot of work that goes behind it. And when you look at the Fort Worth Police Department and the Fort Worth Fire Department, it's very challenging to get in. It's very challenging because they want the best of the best. That's why Craig is sitting next to me. But in all seriousness, they want the best to take care of their city. The academy is hard. The physical requirements are hard. The learning is hard. Everything is in this academy is very challenging. And the best part about it that I love is that I completed all that. And I believe not only do we have the best facility, fire and police training facility, what I feel like in the world, but we also have the most challenging. And when you graduate from the Fort Worth Police Department or from the Fort Worth Fire Department, you have definitely earned it.
Yeah. You were a first-time go, right, Craig?
I took 2 tests to get on. Yeah.
All right.
So I wasn't the best of the best, but I was
Second to the best, and all the first ran out. So they got
still
to
glad to be here, man.
And still glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Buddy, how many times did it take you to get through the, all right, first-time go at this station?
That's okay. I'm not going to. Craig's just as good. Maybe he applied himself a little bit more, which is what we want everyone to do. We want everyone to apply themselves to the fullest extreme. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to stay over here in my little corner, buddy, because I feel like I've already kind of sat where you sat.
Yeah.
Because I've done this before because I showed up the first time he asked. So I'm kind of trying to let you have your light right now.
Yeah.
But you're doing a good job. Keep it
No
up.
worries. I'm sorry I was saving lives, Craig. Go ahead.
This is excellent. I'm going to keep drawing you into the conversation, too, because I can't let you
And I've
sit
got
in
an
your
answer.
corner of
Hey,
safety.
I'm good. It's so I sit here and I listen to Buddy. I'm like, man, I want to be just like him one day.
You got the haircut down. You're working on that. Yeah.
How long in total have you been in your position, buddy?
Fixing to be 10 years.
Okay.
10 years. I worked a year and a half, a couple years in patrol. Patrol actually answers so when someone picks up the phone and calls 911 and they need police to respond, that's what patrol does. Patrol is the front line of the police department. That's the one we want to take care of the most. That's the one that goes out there and handles all of these calls. I did that for several years, and then I went to our DWI, late night enforcement, which is our driving while intoxicated. Arrested a bunch of drunk drivers. We've had some really, really challenging things that we've had to experience because we don't just respond to drunk drivers. We're kind of like a nighttime traffic enforcement. We handle all the accidents that you'll see at night. We handle a lot of stuff. Any pursuits, we're the ones in front, ahead.
Did you say
spiking
EOC,
the cars?
buddy?
EOC?
Yeah.
As far as what?
I'm sorry. I thought you said EOC. You're using an acronym.
Oh, no. DWI?
Oh, let's move on. I misheard you.
That's okay. So we may be able to review the tape and find out what I actually said.
We're definitely going to have to review it. Greg's going to get it done by Monday.
Yeah, he will.
On Monday. Your team's on it, right?
My team is not on it, but thanks. So working patrol, went to DWI, seeing all the things that take place there. I said midnight traffic enforcement. Maybe that's what I was talking about. Handling that, and some of the things you see at night, some of the accidents that are just bad. They kind of leave some scars there. It's reality.
Yeah.
And so, but the good part about it is, we've got some great tools that our chief has implemented, and he didn't just implement them with the police department. He's also implemented them with the fire department, and it's called R3. And it's making sure that those individuals that are on the front lines are getting just as much care as the citizens are. In other words, if they have some kind of emotional trauma, if anything they're dealing with, we want them to be prime when they go back out on the streets. So if you're struggling or dealing with something, we have this unit that each and every one of our officers and firefighters can go to at absolutely no cost. It's very private.
R3?
Yeah, it's called R3, and it stands for resilience.
Go ahead, buddy. You do
resolve, and I forgot the other one.
Restore?
And the other
Restore. Restore. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, because we want our officers to be resilient. We want to resolve any issues that they have and get them restored to go back out on the front lines.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Very good tool. Very good tool.
What kind of requirements do y'all have at the Fort Worth Police Department? Say there's somebody that's interested in pursuing that as a career.
Sure. So one of the things is you have to have a clean record. You have to have a clean background. You can't have anything, that would be domestic related that's recent in your life or any kind of drug use. I mean, we pick through these applicants with a fine-tooth comb. So you got to have a clean background, and you got to want to continue to maintain a clean background.
Right.
And so kind of like Craig was talking about, you got to go for an initial testing. Once that testing happens, they rank everybody and start interviewing from there. But the process, I can tell you, at least from the police side, not the fire side, is pretty tough. You want to answer that? That way it's not going through our microphone, even though I heard it in my ears.
I work too.
I know.
It's just not you.
So that's the edit part right there. Cut. So after that, we have what's called a PHB, and that's a personal history booklet. And when I started, it was 56 pages. And it was 56 pages of all your life history. You have to let them know who your mom is, your dad, any siblings. They go to aunts and uncles, and they want to know who all has been in your life and who all has been able to infect this person that's going out and fixing to serve our city with a badge and gun. And they call every single one of them. They call them into full detail. And then when they ask, so like if you're my brother and they went and interviewed you, they said, well, who else has been, in Buddy's life? And you start giving them other names, then they go and ask all those people. You know what I'm saying? So it's very intense on the process. So once we do the personal history booklet, we keep moving on. We have to meet specific physical requirements as well too. That's there. And the cool thing about it is all of that's on our webpage. So you can go to that and see all the requirements that we're going to ask. You won't be able to see the personal history booklet. That comes more personal once you are a serious candidate and you've gotten high up on the test.
Yeah.
The other thing that's great too is we have an oral review board where we sit down and we talk face to face, because you may look good on paper, but you may not really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I want to see your eyes. I want to see your hand movements. I want to see everything you're doing and the way you express yourself and the way you carry yourself in just a normal conversation. And, we don't expect them to be a police officer during each part of this process. We're going to train you to be a police officer. We're going to train you to be a cop. But we want to make sure you have the basic tools that you're going to need for us to invest in you and push you along.
Yeah. How many new rookies do you get? Is it okay to call them rookies?
Sure.
Or candidates? Or whatever?
Candidates would be good, either one.
How many do you get in a class typically, and how many come out the other side wearing a badge?
So I can tell you from my class, we started with right at almost 60, and 42 of us graduated.
Okay.
So we lost about 18, and I don't say lost, but they either couldn't meet the requirements that are very high for the Fort Worth Police Department,
or they might have decided this isn't for me.
And a handful of them actually have decided it's not for me. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough, and the things you're going to see when you get out on the streets, it's real. Us as the police and fire, we don't get to go to a scene and say, man, somebody needs to do something about this. We need to call 911.
Who should we call?
We are 911. Yeah. It's us that puts the gloves on our hands and makes, the emergencies go from emergency status, chaos status, to a calm and helpful status.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hear stories all the time, different situations that you guys have to respond to, and I can't imagine being the person, and I'm not risk adverse. I'm not afraid of fire or danger, but some of the things that you guys have to deal with, I could never do, and I think that's a large majority of our population. If they saw the things that you had to deal with, they would just curl up in a ball and wait for somebody to come pick them up.
That's got to be something that's in you. It's some of that stuff is trained, and some of that is who you are as a person going out to take that first test, because you've just got something inside you that you talk to Buddy or you talk to me or anybody else that's in the line of work that we do, and we love what we do.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because you know, we ask for a little bit of grace and mercy too. You know, I can only speak from the police end, but I know when I was in patrol, I can, you know, tell you specifically, when we would go to a call, it may have been somebody that was screaming nonstop, and it's a 911 hang up because they hung up their phone. And we get there and with fire, and they really just, you know, the stove got too hot and they burned their hand. Okay, and so we get there, we make sure everything's good and secure. We make sure they get attended by fire, and if they need to be transported, you know, we'll call MedStar for that. And then the very next call we go to may be a homicide that involves a child. Well, once we get done with that homicide with a child, we may get a call like we had prior to. And the emotions that go in it up and down, you know, it's not that I'm begging for grace and mercy. All we're doing is asking for a little understanding. A little understanding and knowing you don't know what that officer or that firefighter just faced and what they're going to. And then the rest of the shift they have to complete to continue to serve our city. We can't just clock out and say, man, that was bad, we're done, I'm going home half a day. We don't get to do that. We're required to work our shifts and serve our city the entire time.
And I don't know that Fort Worth is dealing with this too. I'm sure that you are, but as we kind of move on through the years, it seems like it's getting harder and harder to find people that can actually do this job. And are y'all having recruitment shortages?
So I know there's been a recruitment shortage throughout the nation. I will tell you, if you go back, and this is kind of the humorous side of it, but if you'll go back and watch a video that we put together in recruitment, it's called Big B, Officer Big B. I don't know if you were able to see that, but
I probably have.
You'll remember, it's kind of the car salesman deal that we did.
I saw it.
So yours truly was the actor in that.
Big B!
Big B, yeah.
I did see it.
Yeah, I was the actor in that. It was written by Brad Perez, one of our other PIOs. Did an excellent job writing it, putting it together, and that not only drew national attention, but it drew in a lot of recruits. And what we wanted to do, the job was done. We wanted to get people to say, you know what, out of all these departments in here, I've wanted to be a police officer. I'm not sure, kind of on the fence, but that's the department I want to go work for. And it really spiked our recruitment.
That's awesome.
And it really did. And you know what? It also got our face all over the nation, what I'm telling you. We were on different shows, on Nightline, ABC. We were on Kelly Clarkson's show. It pulled us all out there because they wanted to know, how in the world is the nation or America struggling to hire police candidates, and you guys are overwhelmed?
I'd say, first of all, great video, definitely worth a lot of credit there. But would you say that some of that is how Fort Worth Police Department is ran and the community as a whole, Fort Worth as a whole?
I would say so. And here's the probably the nail on the head, is that we're just humans. You know, we're going to act silly sometimes to make a video. Yes, we carry a badge and gun. Yes, we drive big trucks with lights and sirens. But at the end of the day, we're dads too. We're, you know, husbands. We're all that. And so we're just people like you, but we just have the, you know, the tools that allow us to go take care and serve our city during this chaos that I was talking about earlier. And so it can be different. It can be very different.
Well, those the videos are great, and I think it in my mind it really kind of sums up Fort Worth and the Fort Worth Police Department and our first responders, our community as a whole.
You know,
the way that you do those videos, because they're great and they're very personable.
Yeah, and you know, the advantage that we have is, I say this all the time, I feel like everything rises and falls on leadership. And when you have a great city leadership, when you have a chief that not just cares about his city, but cares about his troops, you want to work hard. You want to push yourself to that next level. And so I say it all the time, everything rises and falls on leadership. And when we have great leaders in place, like we do here in Fort Worth, when we have great command staff over our police department, you're going to get great results.
Very true. Yeah. And I've made that same statement in organizations, just, you know, on the civilian side of it. And you're absolutely right. Matters what kind of leadership you got at the top, and everything underneath that's going to reflect it, right?
Exactly right.
Man, you are firing through these questions, buddy.
He's
Giving
good.
you straight. I told you the easiest thing to answer in the world is a question. And I mean that from the heart. There's no reason that anybody, and this speaks for both police and fire, there's no reason anybody should have a question on what we're doing and how we're doing it and not get an answer for it. Now, we can't tell you all the secret tactics on the police end, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, but you need to be able to be transparent with your community. And I think that's one of the advantages that I have. And this is not a bragging moment. This is just a be real moment. But, in the police department, we don't always do it right. We're human. We're going to mess up. But I feel confident enough that when my face gets on the camera and I get to talk to the public, they're going to trust me. They're going to say, you know what? Whether they did it right or wrong, this officer is going to tell me the truth. And you have to have those relationships, because when we do mess up or we do things that you may not understand, the public is still open to say, well, then tell us so we can understand.
Yeah.
And we can have those conversations, and it's an easy street because we can meet in the middle and not be bumping heads.
Just constantly building community trust and all the things that you're doing, so that whenever those gray sky days happen, you're already trusted, and people know who you are. They recognize your face. They know what you're about.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Any advice for new rookies out there? People that are looking into joining?
Yeah, I would just tell you strength training. Just do strength training. You're going to do a ton of push-ups. You're going to do a ton of sit-ups, pull-ups. You're going to run. Just do some strength training. Don't do anything out of the ordinary. We're gonna work with you through the process. We're going to teach you, your defense tactics, different tactics like that you can do to take care of yourself. You don't need to come in some third-degree black belt or anything like that. My deal is I don't fight a fighter. I try to always one-up them, and we have that. We stay a level above whatever the force or the threat is against us. And so you don't have to come in, knowing jiu-jitsu or all that. We're going to teach you some of this stuff. What you need to come in is with a heart to want to serve people and push further than anybody else would have pushed.
Yeah. And if it goes to the ground game, you've already messed up, right?
If it goes to the ground game, no. Well, I don't know if you've messed up, but yeah, I've had some ground games. Let's just say it that way.
Buddy, do you think you can whoop me right now?
When you say define that, because I want to give you a clear answer. Define what that means.
Do you think you can make me tap out right now?
Let's say it like this, Craig. I don't like to brag or boast, but I'll tell you what, if you want to pick on me, there's going to be some furniture moving
I'm not
here.
picking on you, man.
We have the whole area where Gasagi practices every Sunday right over here.
There's going to be some furniture moving.
I just asked a question.
I know it's just concrete, but I've got some AstroTurf we can pull out.
Yeah.
And I got the guys down here at Flurry Fitness. They can bring some gloves.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you just like I tell everybody else. I may not win, but at the end, you're going to know you were in a fight.
He's geared up too, bro.
I'm telling you, man, he is ready to go. He is ready to go.
He's got the camera right there.
Yeah, we can turn that on at any time, man.
Just show people exactly how he broke your nose.
I didn't know how you felt.
I do my own podcast right here on here.
It's cool, man. Stop. Turn it off, buddy. Turn it off.
City equipment. I'm sorry about that.
Well, buddy, where are you from originally?
So I was a military brat. That means my dad served in the Army.
Okay.
And he served for quite a while, and so I feel like we moved every couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
So I was actually born in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay. Your dad was jumping out of planes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, he was, jumping out of planes, and military police actually is what he was.
Yeah.
That's where they do all their jump school there. Mm-hmm. But he was military police. We went from there. We've been to Fort Benning, Georgia. We've pretty much I spent 4 years in Germany, Würzburg, Germany. We were stationed there. So kind of been all over.
Did you learn some German while you were there?
I did learn some German.
Good eye, Mike.
Give us a
But
taste.
hold on, let me
That's
finish.
Australian, man.
Let me finish. I did learn some German. Chocolate is really good.
There we go.
But anyway, when you go to, at least when I was back there in the 80s, you're on a military base, so you think you're in America. You're just in a different area. Mm-hmm. So the schools that I went to there were military schools, so everybody spoke English. Mm-hmm. But you really think you're in America. You're just not on a military base.
Yeah. Was that any of that during the Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff?
David Hasselhoff?
Yeah. Was that during the Hasselhoff days with
It
the wall
was.
and all that?
Yeah, sure was. David Hasselhoff. That's a new name.
Yeah.
We haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. Well, reaching way back in the
I do have
archives for that one.
I do have police lights that look like Knight Rider. They'll go back and forth, but I don't have kit in there.
You're going to have to show us that.
Oh, yeah, I'll show it to you here in just a second. We'll go out there and show you all the police lights and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Man, people are going to be beating me up because I'm not asking cool questions about your squad or things I'm forgetting, but we'd love to get you back on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
For another recording, now that we've met and our listeners know who Buddy is. And they need to go and check out some of your videos. Where can they see these things at?
They can go to Inside FWPD on YouTube. The best way and the actual good way to get all your fresh content is to follow us online on the police department. Just go to Fort Worth Police. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. If you're wondering what X is, it's the old word that people used to use when they said Twitter. So anytime somebody says it now, are y'all on Twitter? I'm like, what's Twitter? I don't know what that is. But, just being funny. But, yeah, follow us on those three. You can see some of the videos that we do. We did a great one for the eclipse that was coming up. And, and it's just – here's the thing, man, and I'll just say this. People are going to watch your videos for three reasons. It's either cheesy, it's stupid, or it's funny. And, and we do that because there's a lot of times we have to get important messaging out. And if I put out important messaging and nobody's reading it, what's the purpose or what's the point of putting out messaging? Because you don't have an audience. And so we're one of the largest audiences, actually. If you'll look, I think on Facebook, we have, for a police department, I think right now we're at 355,000 followers, which is pretty good. You'll see some larger departments out there. I think we may be like number 4, number 5 in the nation. So that's a good following that we have there.
Powerful. Yeah.
We are working on our Instagram. If you're listening now, hopefully, and you've gotten through this much of the bull that we've been talking about, go follow us on Instagram. We need a few more Instagram followers. And, a lot of the media follows X. But we have to communicate in each different channel so that everybody's getting the message.
Yeah. Well, the city of Fort Worth, the Fort Worth Fire Department, and the Fort Worth Police Department, I think, do an incredible job of maintaining a presence on social media and just kind of getting information out that way. Whenever we were going through the early days of the 2020 COVID BS, Betsy Price was up there, I think, daily.
She was. I was up there with her in the Emergency Operations Center.
Yeah, and, I mean, even if she didn't have anything to tell people, she would get up there and she'd say, we have nothing to tell you today. And then the very next day, she'd be back up there doing another update. So I think that Fort Worth and all of our city departments do an excellent job. And Craig, I'm gonna have to say it, man. Police department does have better social media right now.
They do.
They're putting out some incredible videos.
They really do. They've got a whole team to do it, and they do an amazing job.
If you need a podcaster to hold a camera, I've told you, I'm always there for you.
The thing is, man, I'm running back and forth from one to the next, and half the time I'm running over there to their side asking for help because, as you can tell from Buddy just talking, they've been in these positions for a while. They know what they're doing. I told you before, when I came into this spot, I've been on the back of a fire truck for 20 years. I don't have a background in this. Not that they do, but they're further along the way. He said you've been in this position for 10 years. And I really,
as an officer, but I've only been in this spot for 5.
Okay.
And I'm razzing you.
Oh, I know you are.
I'll tell you this, what Craig is saying now is legitimate. He will come to us, and he's very open. He's very teachable. And not only is he teachable, but he learns. And some of the things that we share with him, he applies. And we see him applying that. And, the Fort Worth Police Department has a great PIO behind them. He wants to do well. He feels like I just don't know all the stuff like you. And I tell him all the time, Craig, just hang around enough. The attitude that you have and the discipline that you have to always want to keep advancing yourself, you're going to be just fine.
He's the right guy.
Yeah, and if you screw up, I'm going to be right there beside you, and I'm going to make up some reason on why it's okay that you screwed up.
He tells me to hang around, and then I try to get him to go take me out for lunch, and he won't do it. So no, but these guys do. That team has helped me out more than I can talk about. Just in different events, we talked about the explosion towards the beginning of the year. They're always right there beside me, wanting just anything I say that they will do, just to help me out, and that's very appreciated.
Now, Craig has the recognizable face, because whenever something like that building, tragic, but maybe we can talk about some details for that. Maybe we shouldn't, but Craig was all over national news.
As recognizable as it may be, I can promise you this is not the face that you want.
Oh, yeah.
My wife tells me that all the time.
Oh, she's wrong, Craig. She's wrong. It's the face that we trust.
No. So I'll give you a little bit of breakdown on that. Being that it was an explosion or fire, we have a lot of information that we have in here and that we want to say and we want to get out.
Right.
But the appropriate department needs to get that information out. But I will tell you, all the things that he was saying, he double checked, and when he wasn't sure, we helped him check.
Yeah.
And that was when we got there at next to City Hall, and I was right next to Craig. It was like, the way the team works. And when I say team, that's Craig included, was very crucial. I wish we could have had little cameras like, we have around here. Mm-hmm. But to see us say, hey, Craig, now if I was you, if it was in my shoes, here's what I would say, or here's what I would think to do. And he would say, okay, I see that, but this person's telling me this, and this person's telling me this. And I said, but yeah, what direction are we going? Yeah. And he would see the direction we're going. And then once I fed him information, I'm not saying I knew it all, but once I fed him information, I backed up, realized it was his, and said, now what do you need from me?
Right.
And if we would just be like that in society, if we would just communicate with people, it's important. It's important in your marriage. It's important with police and fire. It's important in your day-to-day. If people would just communicate and step back and realize, you know what, it's not about me. And that's the thing I love about this job is that, yes, I have fun in front of the cameras, and yes, I like being stupid on silly videos, but at the end of the day, it's about this right here. And you've got to realize what you're doing it for. And at that point in time, it was for the fire department. So I needed to push and give everything I could to Craig and then back up and say, now, how can I help you? And, man, that's important in everybody's life.
Yeah. Well, and I'll use that to thank you guys again, because it is sensitive, and there are legal ramifications for everything that comes out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. And this being a podcast, the nature of it, I do know how sensitive that is, and you're really putting yourself out on a limb for me and the Fort Worth Roots podcast listeners. So thank you guys so much.
I will tell you one other thing, and I don't know if you're trying to wrap it up because I keep talking nonstop.
Nope.
But
I've got all day. You gave me 23 minutes. So.
I did earlier. Yeah.
I'm listening.
I forgot what I was going to say, but go ahead and start talking about something.
Well, so I will. I'll take this away while you regroup. And some of the things that I wanted to kind of bring forth today, I'm glad that you were able to show up. It's been tough, especially to get both of us in the room. As challenging as our jobs.
Exactly. And that's what I keep telling people. Like, we understand you guys, first responders, you've got a very critical role in our community, and things are going to come up. So
my main goal today when I got out of bed was just to try to make sure that I got Buddy. So I'm good. I'm sitting back over here in the corner. I'm just letting you do your thing. You're good. I'm learning as you're doing this right now just how you're. I really am, man. You think I'm playing. Yeah. So I've always appreciated that with you. There's two things that I kind of wanted to push a little bit today from the fire department standpoint. One of them is a platform called Code Red. Another one is called Community Connect. I'll get you the QR codes and stuff if you could put them up at the end of however that works in your world. Code Red is what we use for an emergency messaging standpoint. So anytime if we're talking about an explosion, if we're talking about there's a West Nile in this particular area of the city, this block. We could push messaging out citywide. We can push messaging out from just a particular building or a neighborhood. So all you have to do with that is it's an app that you can download, and you will automatically get those alerts that we push out from our Emergency Operations Center, the EOC. Mm-hmm. So I know that's not what he said.
Now he said it.
Did. EOC, Emergency Operations Center. So that's kind of the brains. Anytime, and I'll keep going back to the explosion because it's kind of the perfect example. When resources are needed that are more than what we can provide quickly in an immediate manner, we call out to this center. It does fall up underneath the scope of the fire department, but it brings in all the different public safety, streets, waste management, water. We bring in them all in-house, and we're able to just, instead of trying to make a phone call across town to see tell people where we need their employees at for whatever situation, we can literally just walk across the room and tap somebody on the shoulder, and it brings everything to where it's more efficient, to where it's just better for the people on the back end too, because we can work through that stuff really quick instead of phone calls back and forth in a scene that can be so chaotic to where it's affecting everybody within the city.
And this is an app called Code Red?
Code Red.
And is this going to be just for first responders and city officials, or is
this is for all the public? That's why it's for the public,
okay.
And that's why I wanted to make a push with it today, because it's not something that's brand new, but it's something that we've seen the value in, that we're trying to get more people educated in. So
either you were talking to me about it, it, or somebody has?
I think I brought it up to you before the next time that we talked.
Yeah.
We talked about coming back from time to time with different topics to try to put out to the public so they're aware, so we can be better at our jobs of putting some of that stuff out. So Code Red is one. Like I said, that is an app. You download it. You're in the system. We can push out anything. You can go in there and we can dictate what is needed to go out, but that way you've got it. If you've got that app and you're traveling in New York or whatever else, as long as you're within that area of where those capabilities can happen with those different cities, you can get that messaging if you're in that location as well.
So if I'm a Fort Worth resident, I've got the Code Red app, and I'm in New York City, and they're also using that, I'll start getting notifications from that region?
Correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there's another, this was a website, but it's called Community Connect.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cool thing about that is you as a homeowner or as a business owner can come back in and you can register on that website. And let's say I've got a child who has autism and they're nonverbal.
Yeah.
And I've got some type of emergency situation that's going on at my home. Police, fire show up.
Shows up on the database.
Yeah, so this is specific to a physical location, so your address. But we show up, your child's there, you've got some kind of medical event going on, you can't speak to us.
Yeah.
The child's not able to speak to us. We can know as we're hopping on our truck and look at our computers, we call them MDCs, that are on the fire trucks. And you as the homeowner or the business owner can put those specific notes in. So when we show up, we've already got some of the notes that are in the system that we know we've got a child that may not be able to speak with us.
That's powerful.
Or you're a business owner that we've got some hazardous materials that we store in the back of our facility. Not only we want you guys to know about that, but we also need to give you the gate code so you have access to get in that we don't want everybody to have.
No, you don't have to get within visual range of a placard. You've already got it from the curb.
Correct.
That's
so the two very big things that are beneficial for the public, Code Red, Community Connect. Like I said, I'll make sure you have the QR codes before you post this up.
Yeah.
People, we encourage everybody to go apply for both of them and, use that to your advantage. If you've got a sick mother who's non-ambulatory that you, for whatever reason, keep on the second story and your house is on fire, when we're responding, we know we can focus and concentrate our efforts to that specific location. Or if you've got pets that you've got in a crate in a washroom, anything like that, the end user is able to go in and put in that information, and it just provides us the opportunity to have that pop up in front of us as we are responding to that scene, so we can have a better game plan when we're stepping off that truck.
It's 2024 and we're just getting this. This seems like such common sense.
Well, and like I said, some of this stuff has been around for a little bit, but we've been trying to figure it out and make it better and see all the needs and how we can utilize that.
So this is a program that's being utilized largely across the country.
I can't speak to that.
Okay.
I know it is something that's been around here for a little bit that we're just now trying to get comfortable in getting that stuff out to try to work out the kinks and all that, but to put out to the public now to move forward.
Awesome. Buddy?
You're waiting for a Code Blue app, aren't you? So we do have a Code Blue app. I'm not sure if it's nationwide, but the Code Blue app, it's real easy to download on your iPhone or your Android, and it works in a little different capacity. What it allows you to do if you've received great service from an officer, in other words, they were professional like we all are, it gives you the option to leave a tip. You can do the 15%, the 20%, or the 25%, depending on the amount of your citation.
You gotta be kidding.
So,
Buddy, you can't talk about that right now.
Can you talk about that right now?
Yeah.
There is no Code Blue app.
So
You said something while ago about Code Brown.
Not me, but I will tell you this.
Okay. Maybe I misunderstood. Communication, I misunderstood.
Communication, yeah, it happens all the time. It's probably the headsets on your head.
is that an aggravated signal 53?
53?
52?
No.
Is it
No.
56?
I'm going to let you keep guessing, though.
Well, it's different for every department.
Sure is. Listen, we'd love to come back as well, too. We do some things when I go out and teach, and it'd be great to have Craig here with this, and maybe we can do a joint effort like he has the Code Red, kind of leading people specifically to that so we can put it up on the video here. But I love to come out and do certain things with iPhone and Androids. It's telling people, safety tips that they can use on their phone.
Yeah.
Different ways that you can use this in an emergency situation you may not be aware of. Other things that we have on here. Make sure your emergency contacts are set up. Make sure that any medications you take. We do a whole kind of series on that. And so we can come back and just kind of make it a safety tips and, from your fire and police.
100%.
We can come back and do that. One of the other things for the individuals listening right now, you may not understand everything about police and fire, but if you're ever curious and want a better understanding, I know on the police end, we do what's called a ride-along, and I'd encourage you to do that as well, too. You can come out, ride in a specific area of Fort Worth. You can pick one of our different shifts that we have to go out and ride, and you kind of get a little bit of understanding, because sometimes they'll say, well, why are the police doing just this, and why can't they do anything else? You'll see the call loads that are going out there, and maybe how we prioritize them. And yes, although somebody is walking through your neighborhood and they just don't look right to you, we may not be able to answer that right away, because there's a robbery that just happened a few blocks ago or just a while ago, and we need to catch all the individuals that are doing that. Yeah. And so it kind of give you a little bit of understanding, and that would be great. So
I'd love to
don't forget about our ride-along program. We'd love to have you come out there, and maybe even after the ride-along program, you can come in here and be like, well, I spent a night with Buddy in the Fort Worth Police Department. Make sure all that clip makes it, because just saying I spent the night with Buddy is not going to work. But I spent the evening with Buddy in the Fort Worth Police Department.
Don't lose signal in the middle of that sentence.
Yeah, exactly. Or cut it short. No edits here. But maybe if you could do something like that, man, it'll really be able to allow you to speak to the viewers and the individuals listening, letting you know, hey, man, this is... When these guys are sitting on the couch, that's the calmest I've seen them. But when they go out and answer emergencies, it's amazing how calm they stay as well to be able to handle the situations that they handle.
Yeah, we're going to do that, buddy.
Yeah, let's do that.
Can I ride along with you?
You can. Define that, though. You see, I don't always say yes. So I need to define and let you need to explain what you're talking about.
I need to talk offline.
Yeah,
okay.
We need to talk offline.
Right, we'll talk offline.
But anyway.
Craig didn't offer to put me on a truck, by the way.
Well, I didn't know we were done yet. Anytime. Hey, we'll put you on a truck, and we'll put you on a truck before you get in the cop car.
Oh, I'll take you to the cop car right now. What you got? You got a truck out there?
I love this.
You want to throw them in the F-150?
Well, I got room.
I'll be sharing some a little video I took whenever these guys rolled up with their lights on. It's cool. It's got all the neighbors walking out of their house going, what the hell is going on at the podcast studio?
Either that or I knew it. I knew he was that's what they're going to say.
That's probably it, too.
Yeah, I'll tell you, speaking of all the lights you see on there, it may look overwhelming, but anyway, just be cautious when we're on the roadway. We have so many lights, fire trucks, police trucks, because we just want people to be safe. And sometimes when we have all that, and I'll tell you this, I'm speaking from experience, people still don't know to either go around us and slow down, or they still say, hey, can I just get through here? And they're causing a traffic jam. Well, if you've got a fire truck or police truck there that's full lights and everything, it's probably not good for you to try to go right through there. Yeah. So, I hear it all the time. People are like, well, why don't cops use their blinkers? Well, it doesn't matter if we use our blinkers or not. We've got, we're using a lot of voltage on emergency lighting out there. You still don't see those. You think you're going to see a blinker?
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's my favorite joke.
I like how you turn that back around.
Yeah, you like that?
You're good, man. You're good.
Jumping in on that early. Let me see if there's anything else I needed to make sure I mentioned. Yeah, we talked about the safety, the ride-along, the fake Code Blue app. Oh, we do have one app that works actually in Fort Worth, and we can talk about that during our safety tips, or I'll give you a little nugget now. It's called My Fort Worth, and it's an app where if you have any problems in your neighborhood in Fort Worth, maybe there's an abandoned car that's been across the street, you don't have to pick up the phone and call police. That's 100%. Excellent. You can actually utilize your cell phone, take a picture. We can actually see what's going on and then send an officer, because it won't be a high priority call if a car is just sitting there and looks abandoned, but it's priority to you, right? Because you live across from it and you see it every single day.
You know it's out of place.
All those eyesores, anything that you can do that we could come out and handle for you, or at least put the right department there for you. It may be a code compliance issue. It may be a police issue. Whatever it is, you can actually put it in through the app, and our dispatch goes through that and handles or assigns them to different police officers or puts them to the right unit.
Well, everybody in Fort Worth needs that, because that's an excellent tool for keeping those phone lines clear.
Keeping the phone lines clear, but still getting your problems addressed.
Right, yeah, 100%. One thing, I think we might have even addressed this in the last episode, but it pertains to both fire department and police department. It's something that I like bringing up every chance I get, because people don't seem to know this. My 40-hour job is driving a truck, so I'm out on the road all the time. And it seems that the message has not gotten across to the public, so I like bringing it up. Do you know, maybe you have this factoid stored in your head like I do, what the percentage of first responder fatalities, specifically police officers, what the percentage is for fatalities on the roadway because they were struck by a car while engaging in a traffic stop or something else on the side of a highway or street.
I will tell you, I do have stats on that. I will tell you that when you see emergency vehicles on the side of the road, we literally beg you to slow down and pay attention. Because if you go to TxDOT, I know in Texas specifically, 20% of all secondary accidents involving emergency services are fatal. And that's too high of a number. It's too much. And I think the biggest problem is, this is just my guess on it, but it's not because people don't want to pay attention to the emergency lighting or the emergency vehicles. The deal is they're not paying attention in the first place.
Yeah.
These things right here are a great tool, but they're also a great distraction.
Yeah.
And we see way too many people utilizing cell phones and trying to text and get your message out while you're operating a 2,000 to 3,000 pound vehicle, and that is not safe. That's why there's a law against it. But I think that's the biggest thing. It's not that you're distracted and it's not that you didn't pay attention. The deal is you weren't paying attention at all. So just pay attention when you're on the roadway. Keep in mind, the relatives want you to get from point A to point B safely. The individual that's driving next to you, they want to be safe as well too. We want everyone safe on our roadways, and when you're just paying attention and only focusing on that, it's good. And the way to be able to do that is to plan ahead. If you're going to grandma's house, if you're going to a different state, take care of all that prior to while you're sitting on your couch, kind of like we are, because it's a lot safer here. And right here, we don't have to really worry about operating or maneuvering a vehicle. Yeah. It's all safer. So just plan ahead, just like anything else. If you're going to go do something, do it right, plan ahead, and that way you have the knowledge and the safety to be able to accomplish all that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. We had a state trooper from Oklahoma when I was up in Fort Sill stop in to give us a little. I have no idea what we were doing there, but just gave us a talk. And the number he gave us was something like 98% of officer fatalities is due to being struck by a car in some way or fashion, either on a highway or a street. And that's a huge number, and it sounds pretty preventable.
Yep.
So
you know what? I will give you this too, and I'm full of safety tips sometimes, but
that's good.
It's not that I'm full of them. It's just I want to retain the information so that I can share it.
You can save lives with this.
We can save lives with this, and maybe hopefully even through a simple podcast. And I feel like I can speak for both police and fire on this. But if you're involved in a minor accident, and it's on the roadway. I think back in the old days, I don't know where the wording got out or how the wording got out, but it was like if two cars hit each other, they're like, don't move because I need to see that he was at fault. No, we need you to move that vehicle out of the roadway. Yeah. The biggest
Especially
thing
here, right?
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is your safety and your life. Cars, we can fix. Insurance, they can worry about that. Yeah. It's just metal. But when you talk about a human life, that's our biggest concern.
Yeah.
And so we want those cars, if they're able to be moved, please move them off the freeway.
Right.
If it's in a major street, pull into the gas station or just turn around in the neighborhood. Just get out of there. We're not worried about, oh, yeah, now you're going to pay. You're at fault. What we're worried about is your safety throughout the duration of your incident. You know, I tell my own daughter, and again, another safety tip, I tell my own daughter, listen, if you get a flat tire even on the roadway, don't stop on the freeway. I said, I don't care. That's exactly what I tell her.
I've had the same
I said, I don't care if I have to buy you a new rim. As long as I'm buying you a new rim because you pulled that into a gas station or you got off the main road, we're going to be just fine. I can buy a new tire. I can buy a new rim. Yeah. I can't buy a new daughter that I've invested, the past 23 years in. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. So please, if you're involved in any kind of minor accident, whatever, if you need us, just get off the roadway.
You can safely move that vehicle.
Safely move that vehicle. Absolutely. Please do it.
Yeah. Craig, what you got cooking over there, man?
Nothing.
Well, before we get out of here, I do want to just reiterate. I know me and Craig have talked about this quite a bit, but I've got a hotline number for the Fort Worth Roots podcast, and anytime you've got a safety tip that pops into your head randomly on a Wednesday, call the number, leave a message, and and you can tell me in the recording, you can use my voice, or I'm just, by default, I'll use your voice. If you don't want me using your voice, tell me in the message, and I'll relay it on the show. Same for the fire department. Same for the police department, and for Maddie Parker. If she'd like to be on the show, she could also have that hotline number, but she'd have to be on the show first. Right.
So I will tell you, Maddie Parker's a great talker. She's full of knowledge as well, too. Kind of the thing that happens with Maddie Parker is that everybody wants to speak to her.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody wants to have her out there, and her time is crucial, but I will tell you, she is an incredible leader for us. She does great. We love working with her because we all understand that when we need to get a message out. I'll relate back to the explosion here. When we need to get a message out, we know that it needs to be, in the city of Fort Worth, a unified message. In other words, they don't need to hear this specific thing, and then from me, hear this specific thing, and in another part of town, hear what the city leaders are saying. We all come together, and we work well together because we know that our citizens need to hear one message from all the top leaders and from your police and fire first responders. And she's great. Right? She's great to work with. She really is.
Well, we're big Team Mayor Maddie Parker fans. We had Betsy Price on the show shortly after the transition, and just love having you guys on. Anybody that's working with the city, anybody that's leadership for our community is always welcome on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. But I would really love it if you and Craig would use that hotline number anytime you think of something.
Sure.
And we can absolutely, anytime you guys have an empty block on your schedule, which I'm sure is almost never, let me know, and I will prioritize that. We'll get you back on the show to do a recording, and then the hotline's always open for you.
So listen, I'll tell you this: I'm always wanting to get information out. So if we can connect, touch base the day before or something like that, and you want to put a message out, just get with me. I'll put my cheesy voice out here and let everybody know, hey, listen, we do want to let everybody in Fort Worth know one of the places you need to stay away from, or give them advice. Like we just had the air show. Hey, everybody listen, keep in mind, River Oaks, it's all going to be busy through there. What you want to do is plan ahead, and if you're not going to the air show, try to stay, we'll just make sure it sounds interesting, but most importantly, give them solid information.
So I'll make a deal with you.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Either you guys call me and do what you just did, or I'm going to call you. And then I'm going to have the roadcaster plugged in. Be like, Craig, it's been 3 weeks. I hadn't heard from you. What do you got for me?
That'll work. Sometimes I need that little kick in the pants to get me thinking about stuff.
Yeah, that's what your wife was telling me. I remember that.
Buddy, I'm having a rough day, and I just need some positive vibes, man. Hit it.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to give positive vibes at any time. Man, I love cutting up and having a good time. I think that's why Craig's working with me, not because of any knowledge I may have, but he just likes to come by and have a good time. And we do in our office.
It amazes me how smart you actually are, just as much as you cut out. I mean, you're brilliant, man.
It's because I read a lot of books. Now, I don't retain any of the information, but I do read a lot of books.
No, this is always a good thing and for the community, too, to see. We get asked all the time, do y'all really hate each other like they do on the TV and this and that? Yeah, absolutely we do. But we can still sit down on the couch and smile and everything else. No, it is cool, and the public needs to know that we've all got jobs to do, and like he was saying, sometimes they may not understand the reasons why, but hopefully they trust that when they see us out there, we're doing what we would do for our own families.
Yeah.
In any situation you could put in front of us, we're gonna treat you all like we would if it was our daughter that was pulled over on the side, had wrecked out on the side of the road, or our grandmother that was falled out on the kitchen floor, or anything else. We see our family members that are there in those situations every time we respond to a 911 call.
Yeah. Yep. Basically, if anybody was going to take care of my mom, how would you take care of him? And it's just what we do. I think we're wired different, because as police, we put our lives on the line every single day for people we don't even know. When Craig and the fire department are out there blocking on a freeway for us, they're blocking us and saving us from, because we're tending to an accident of people they don't even know. We may put our lives out there on the line every single day, and we're willing to do that. But we just ask everybody to have a little understanding and take a little steps in the positive direction in helping your city be safer as well.
Yeah. And I had this in the notes. I wanted to make sure that I put this in here before we left.
Sure.
I just wanted you guys to know the Fort Worth Roots podcast, our listeners, our family, the community here in Fort Worth. We love you guys. We respect you, and we support you. And I over the past decade have seen the media and kind of society shift away from, celebrating you guys as the heroes that you are. And it's one of the worst things that I've witnessed in my short life, 38 years. But
we're honored to serve.
Yeah, thank y'all for what you do.
We're honored to serve.
And thank you to your families too, because it's not just first responders that are going to be tuning into this episode to listen to us talk. It's going to be a lot of family members of you guys and of the folks over at the individual firehouses and the different police stations and things like that. So thank you to the families too, because they have to suffer reading the shitty comments, and they have to stay up late worrying about you guys whenever they know you're responding to something. And I get that intimately. Yeah. So
it's not foreign to wake up at 2:30 in the morning and have to go to a scene, to handle business or something like that. It can definitely be a stretch and definitely be a pull, but we're here for it. We're here for the long haul. So I will tell you, too, I was going to mention something else when you were talking about family, but if I didn't write it down, I forgot. But I think it's because I'm like a hamster wheel. You never seen a little hamster run? Yeah, I've got like 6 cages of them all running up here.
You just got one of
all
your little
at the same time.
one of your little feet stuck in the wheel for a second.
Yeah.
And it looked like you got room for 2 more.
I probably do. Yeah, I've got a big potato, man. I'm first one to admit it. My hat size is 7 5/8. It's
Really?
a big potato, I know. Yeah, I guarantee you. But anytime you need any information from us, please come out. Like I said, if you want to do, I don't know how we do a podcast on the road, but
I got you.
Yeah, but there's some certain things we can do on the police end. You know, we have a virtual simulator. It's like 320 degrees. It goes around. It's like a big video screen. We'll put all this gear on you, kind of put you through some scenarios and let you know what office. Virtual reality is what it is, but at the same time, it's called reality-based training.
Do I get a
In other
taser,
words,
bro?
You will get a temporary taser to utilize.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
Can I touch your gun?
No. Can you what? Let's cut the screen from here up. I don't really know. This is another moment. Define what you're talking about. You see how important it is now, right? Yeah, define what you're talking about. No, but
I can do that too. Crop the.
Yeah.
I want to go do that.
The reality-based
Yeah.
training? It's right there where you work.
Well, then why ain't you ever told me about it, buddy?
Because you always turn left when you walk in. We're on the right-hand side.
Left is the right.
But anyway, in all seriousness, we have a big screen there, and it's reality-based training. We put you in the closest environment to being real as possible, because I can't say, hey, I want you to pretend, see this Fort Worth Roost sign? I want you to pretend that's an ATM. And you see that microphone? Well, I want you to pretend like that's a bad guy. You can only pretend so much, but when you make it real, as close to real as possible, then you're like, oh yeah, he's saying it's a bank because I'm walking into a bank.
Right.
We have a tactical village there that's tops in the nation. That when you say, hey, you're going to go into this bank, you'll see the bank and the tellers there and the stand. It looks just like a bank. When you say we're walking into a convenience store because a robbery just happened, and as we're training our recruits and as we train with our annual training that we have to do every single year, it's got gas pumps inside. And it's got a convenience store there, and it's got lofts above it. Everything is so real to walk through there. You're thinking, man, it's a privilege, and I want you to go there because you're going to speak highly of it. And you're going to say, my police department, the Fort Worth Police Department, has literally the best training, like I talked about. We have a huge driving pad out there where we get to, push the car to its limits and actually see what these vehicles will do safely. And, the best thing that I loved about driving and teaching driving is that we may not have faster cars. In other words, I may not be able to have a bigger engine than you, but I guarantee you this, I'm going to be able to outdrive you.
Nice.
I just know how to manipulate that vehicle and move it.
You've got the training to support
to support it. The numerous hours of training. Actually, you can't move on until you've passed that training. That's another great thing.
Is Motors out there?
Motors is out there as well too. They do that all the time.
Take one of them for a spin?
You can't really take it for a spin unless you've passed specific courses.
I've got the endorsement. I've got the endorsement.
Yeah. No, I used to ride
Not
all the
that
time.
endorsement.
Yeah. I don't ride anymore. But those were fun times. Owned me a little crotch rocket, I guess is what you would call it. I don't know if you call that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
Yeah, and did one of those, and it was fast and dangerous.
Got something for you guys, buddy.
For both of us to share?
You don't actually get one, buddy.
I'm good with that, man. I got plenty of stuff.
You showed up second.
Let's see what you got here. Let's see what you got. Hey, this may entice people to come out here and be a part of your show.
This is for Fort Worth royalty right here.
If Mayor Parker's watching and she wants one of these Fort Worth Roots Cup, the only way to get one is come have a seat right next to us.
That's true. That's true, actually. So yeah, you got those coffee cups. Figured you guys might. I know we're moving into summer, but
sure,
they're good, solid cups, and they'll last you till next winter. I threw some koozies in there. Maybe you can share with a friend or at your.
Awesome.
Few stickers for you and armbands and things like that.
Oh, this is great. Well, hey, I just want to tell you, I know we're fixing to wrap up, but thank you for bringing us on Fort Worth Roots.
It's an honor.
So that you could hear the heart of the Fort Worth Police Department. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do events all the time. If you guys ever want to piggyback on one of those, like we got the River Oaks Springfest Car Show coming up next weekend.
You have the what?
River Oaks Springfest Car Show.
Say it again one more time.
River Oaks Springfest Car Show.
River Oaks, yeah.
River Oaks.
Fort Worth PD. Fort Worth. No, I'm just messing with you.
I bet there'll be some Fort Worth folks out there, though.
Yeah.
Since River Oaks is kind of situated right in the middle of Fort Worth.
Now, we love River Oaks. We work with them on certain calls all the time, and we have channels that we can all talk to each other. So, great department.
They've allowed us. We've got one of our stations that's shacked up with them right now. Is one of our stations is getting repaired, shacked up.
Okay.
Yeah, all these little communities work really well together. I mean, there's Fort Worth squad cars out in Weatherford.
Sure.
Little satellite stations and things like that. And so it's Fort Worth, but all these little communities are all part of, Tarrant County and our neighborhood. So
we're all in it together.
Never any shade, and it's actually a hell of an event. We had 8,000 people come out last year.
Wow.
But we're doing something every month. And the point is, if you guys ever want to roll through and just talk to people, do some community engagement, wherever I am, wherever that banner is, you guys are always welcome.
It's appreciated.
All right. Last thing, listen, if you want to have your viewers come in and just start taking a bank of questions so that you can have out there. They kind of know our personalities. Okay. They kind of see that we're just going to be real with them. So whatever the question they have. Now, if the question is, hey, or you want to go out on a date with me, that ain't going to happen, okay?
Right.
But legitimate questions, if they have them, man, I'd love to get them answered.
Yeah.
We'd love to get right here and see their questions answered on your show.
Now, if you are listening to this on any of the streaming services, don't know if they have comment features, but I won't see those. You can comment on our YouTube videos. You can comment on posts that we make on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Not X. We don't really mess with X. Or you can email us directly, media@fortworthroots.com. Let Craig know with the Fort Worth Fire Department, or let Buddy know at the Fort Worth Police Department that you have a question, and we'll forward that to him, and we'll call him up, and we'll get that answered before the next show. So
awesome.
That's it.
Sounds
Let's wrap this up. You guys have very important things to do. Thank y'all again, and can I get you back on the show, Craig?
Man, you know me.
Can I get you back on the show, buddy?
I'm going to do my best.
Buddy, can we get you back on the show?
You can always rely on the fire department.
All right, we'll do our best.
Man, I'd love to come back. Just let's try to book something down
get
it back out here.
Okay.
But I'm only going to come if they invest in doing what you've said, asking questions, so we can come out here and get to talking.
That's excellent. All right, so if you guys want to hear more from the Fort Worth Police Department and the Fort Worth Fire Department, you got to ask questions. So let's see it. If you can't figure out where to message us, just hit us up. media@fortworthroots.com is our email, and we'll see you next week. All right, Buddy, Craig, guys, thank you so much for being on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. This is something that, honestly, we've wanted to do for a very long time. We had the pleasure of recording with Craig about a year ago. Please go back and check that one out. Let me see if I can find that episode real quick. I think it's 138, but it's with Craig Trojacek and the Fort Worth Fire Department, and it was one of the best recordings we've ever done. And, episode 138 is the Fort Worth Fire Department Public Information Officer Craig Trojacek, so make sure you go check that out. And I know I say Craig's last name a little different every single time. Trojacek. I think that's right. I think that's the way you say it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you to the Fort Worth Fire Department. Thank you to the Fort Worth Police Department. And we would love to get more involved with you guys. It's an act of God trying to get all of our schedules to just kind of line up, but we're here for it, man. And I know I said it during the recording, but we support you guys, we love you guys, and we respect you. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you to the families of our first responders. I know you guys are you're living the life too, so thank you. And we got to get some comments here, guys. If you were just listening to the recording, you heard Buddy say it. We got to get some response from the public. So email us, media@fortworthroots.com. Let me know how bad I messed up this recording, this golden opportunity. Man, you should have asked him this. You should have asked him that. And we will get Craig and Buddy back on the show. So ask questions. Let us know. What do you want to know about the fire department? What do you want to know about our police department? They are happy to answer these questions. So let me know. media@fortworthroots.com. You can also get us on social media. It's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is really where we live. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. All right, let's talk about these sponsors real quick, and then I want to tell you about our upcoming events. The Body Scrubbery, we talked about them up front at the beginning of the episode. You can find them at The Body Scrubbery on Instagram. They're located at 519 Pennsylvania Avenue. A boutique and unique spa experience, luxury foot spa, full body scrub, infrared heat wraps, massage bubble tub, mud wraps, facials, complete packages, and couples packages and small group parties. Go online and check this place out. Hit that drop down menu in the upper right corner and find the Book Now tab. I was running out of air. Excuse me. What a busy weekend. Happy Cinco de Mayo, by the way. Wavy Digital, you can find them on Instagram at WAVVY Digital. By the way, all this stuff is in the show notes, so you don't have to be writing this stuff down if you don't want to. Wavy Digital is who you need if you are a musician, a content creator, or a business owner. She's going to get in there and turbocharge your social media platform, help you with photography on your website, and anything else you might need to increase your digital footprint. Flurry Fitness, Instagram, go to Flurry Fitness Fort Worth. They're located at 643 Sherry Lane, Fort Worth 76114. Go there, go to their Insta and click on the link provided for your free 3-day pass. Also tell them you heard about Flurry Fitness on the Fort Worth Roots Pod, and during the spring sales event, they will waive your sign-up fee. I like this place a lot. You got to check it out. I mean, it's free to go check it out. Go check it out. Wherever you're at in your fitness journey, this place is perfect. It's a tailored, customized fitness experience for everybody that walks through the door. Flurry Fitness, right across the street from the military base, kind of in the same parking lot as Target. Eaton Data Solutions. Eaton Data Solutions can help you and your team identify areas of vulnerability in your existing systems and provide you with solutions to protect your business from the unthinkable. Eaton Data Solutions is ran by our buddy Richard Eaton, and he does this all day, every day for Fortune 500 companies. But he, during the time that he's done this, has noticed that, well, it's not just big businesses that these data thieves are targeting anymore. It's small businesses. And so he started up Eaton Data Solutions, and he can help you figure it all out. Protect your data. Make sure that awful things don't happen. Go to EatonDataSolutions.com. Did I get that right? Yep, I did. Cool. Boulevard Brew. This is where I get my coffee now. I've never gone to Starbucks. It's always somebody else's idea if you ever find me in a Starbucks. But Boulevard Brew has all the same drinks. It's just local and better. And you can support a small business rather than feeding the demon that is Starbucks. Boulevard Brew is 5406 River Oaks Boulevard. You can find them on Instagram as Boulevard Brew. It's under new ownership. It's a coffee bar, lounge. They sell baked goods, all the coffee things. And in the back, so like the last 2/3 of this establishment, is a bar and a lounge and a little area for like a 2 or 3 piece performance. So check them out. They've got stuff usually, I think, on Friday nights, but you can find them on Instagram for an update on what's happening next. Just look for Boulevard Brew on Instagram. Next page. What do we got? My notes are all messed up. Cowtown Nutrition, let's see, located at 5430 River Oaks Boulevard. Consequently, right, like, I think, is it in the same, I don't think it's in the same building, but it's in the same little area. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 doors down from Boulevard Brew is Cowtown Nutrition. So check this out. You can get your coffee and then go down to Cowtown Nutrition. Don't even have to repark your car, and get yourself a Herbalife protein shake after your Flurry Fitness workout or before it. Cowtown Nutrition, located at 5430 River Oaks Boulevard. They offer a healthy alternative to that compulsory fast food craving. You can also load up on your favorite Herbalife products and learn about their fitness groups. It's not yours yet. Their fitness groups that they hold on location at Cowtown Nutrition. Check them out on Instagram at Cowtown_nutrition. Shout out to our homies at Pouring Glory, 1001 Bryan Avenue, Fort Worth, Texas, just off South Main Street and I-35, 1 block north, Rosedale. PG is a growler refilling station that serves craft beer and award-winning food with live music. This place is awesome. And I know you hear me say really nice things about our sponsors, but I was a patron of Pouring Glory for years before they became a sponsor. And it wasn't a technique or a tactic on my part. I just love their food and the vibe of the whole place. And they got great beer on tap. I don't know if you've been to a place that cannot keep their taps clean, but if you're a beer drinker, you know what I'm talking about. You've ran into this. Somebody will give you a beer that you've had 1,000 times, and they pour it, and you drink it, and you go, what is wrong with this beer? Well, it's because they have dirty taps. This is something that I really appreciated about Pouring Glory for years, and to this day, it's the same. The draft coming out of that wall is cold and pure and perfect, and that's the chief reason that I'm such good friends now with the owner, Scott, over there, who is, by the way, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. That's 1001 Bryan Avenue. It's just off of South Main Street, that whole South Main Street, Magnolia area thing, that whole situation. They're just 1 or 2 blocks off the beaten path. So it's kind of a Fort Worth hidden gem. And that's another thing I really like about this place is I want Scott to do well. I want him to always have a busy day. But I also love it that it's just kind of this unspoken gem. It's not one of the main stops where all the TCU kids are at and stuff like. Not that there's anything wrong with TCU kids. I'm just saying, get off my lawn, kids. You know? Okay. Anyway, live music at Pouring Glory all the time. They've always got specials. Check them out on Instagram. It's just Pouring Glory. It's a cool spot. Check it out. They're always doing live music and stuff, so you need to stay engaged. Make sure you know what's going to happen next. Woodpost Metalworks. Go to woodpostmetalworks.com. Use offer code podcast817 for 10% off at checkout. They specialize in metal signs with or without LED backlighting, fence and gate repair or installation, light steel fabrication, industrial plasma cutting, and more. Have they been a sponsor for a while? Have I read that same read a billion times? You betcha. You know why? Because they're awesome and we love them. And you should go by the studio sometime. It's at the corner of Yale and Meandering, and we've got this really badass, huge Fort Worth Roots podcast sign facing the street, backlit with LED, and it's awesome. And they made it for me, and I love it. I'll have it, and they're going to bury it with me. They're going to put it on the door to my coffin. Well, that got dark quick. All right. Let's lighten things up. Halk Walker Originals. Go to halkwalker.com. They offer a huge variety of unique and personalized gifts, also laser engraving, to customize just about anything you can think of. They do all the custom stuff that we give away whenever we're doing one of our events. Big fan favorite are the tumblers, the coffee mugs, 20-ounce mugs that they make for us with the Fort Worth Roots podcast logo on it. They can do the same thing for you. You got business and you need to make some merch, they got you covered. You got a big event coming up, baby shower, engagement party, whatever. They can customize your stuff. So check them out. It's Halk Walker Originals. It's halkwalker.com. Roofing Solutions by Darren Halk. Roofing Solutions Halk.com that's HOUK.com. Is where you find them online. Phone number is 817-882-6520, and just by mentioning the Fort Worth Roots podcast, you will get 50% off a roofing tune-up whenever you give them a call. What's a roofing tune-up? That's not normal language, Andrew. They get up on your roof, and they seal your pipe jacks. They survey the roof to see if there's any kind of damage, and this is not a money grab. Darren was very specific whenever he told me about this, because there are dirty little tricks that roofers will engage in order to make you do things you don't want to. And so he wanted me to make sure and tell you he's not doing this so they can get up there and tell you why you should pay him more money. He will get up there, and if there is damage, he'll come back down. He'll take some pictures. He'll come back down. He'll say, hey, I can't do the roofing tune-up for the amount that we talked about. Here's why. I can either walk you through the process of getting your insurance to pay for it, or we can just be done here. Or I can, still seal the pipe jacks. He'll work with you. But he's not doing this so they can get up there and rack up a big invoice for you. That's not what you're committing to. You're committing to having somebody come up there and preserve the most valuable asset that most people have, their home. And then, I know it's nice to ignore problems, but these are the kind of problems that can turn into very serious expenses. Just as an example, he gets up there, you've got some kind of damage to your roof, and you don't know it yet because it hasn't presented itself on the inside of your house. I had a buddy call me last year. God, it's been raining like crazy this year, but last year I was doing the same thing around the same time, and he was just getting flooded. He had all this water damage on the inside of his house, on his ceiling inside their living room. So they're watching this spot grow just overnight. And he's like, I don't even know where it came from, but I need your roofer. Who's your roofer? It's like, man, I give you the number every week, but I gave it to him. And Darren came out and took care of him. But what I'm trying to stress to you is if you don't know, you don't know until the water comes. And then you've got this huge spot in your house. And now that's all got to be ripped out and replaced. And it might have been as simple as just replacing a shingle, So anyway, I know we like to ignore things, but Sometimes it's easier just to call Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck and have him get up there, take a look. He'll do it for 50% off just by mentioning the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Give him a call, 817-882-6520. And don't take a silly podcaster's word for it. You can go online. You can look at all the places that have ratings on these roofers. And Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck has 5 stars across the board. And we love Darren and his entire family. They've been very good to the Fort Worth Roots podcast and me as a person. These are friends of mine. But aside from that, it's nice to know that they're very well respected by the community. So give them a shot. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houck. All right. Did we get everybody? I think we got everybody. Excellent. Again, thank you, Buddy, Craig, Fort Worth Fire Department, Fort Worth Police Department. Thank you guys very much. And I've said it 3 or 4 times, but we love you. We respect you. And thank you for what you do for our community. Damn. It's a lot. And I've got friends and family and loved ones that are also in the first responder roles. And I hear the stories, and it'll break your heart sometimes hearing the things that they have to go through. So anyway. All right. That's it for this week, guys, gals. Thank y'all so much for being here. You are the biggest part of the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Remember to ask us some questions, because I want to be able to call Buddy. I want to be able to call Craig and say, hey, I got this question. It's wild, and we need an answer. I've got them on speed dial, so we don't have to wait for them to schedule us. I can call them up. I'll get them on the Roadcaster and incorporate it in the next upcoming episode. So ask them questions. Hit us up on email. It's media@fortworthroots.com, either to ask us a question or let us know about someone, and maybe it's yourself, that would like to be a guest on the show. We are big on 501Cs. Anybody working inside the city of Fort Worth that would like to talk about either the department or a public service message, whatever. We're here for it. Fort Worth Roots just really wants to connect the community. And if you haven't listened to the show before and this is your first episode, we also do a lot with local musicians, artists, anybody that's making an impact here on the city of Fort Worth. So, all right. And I do this. I trail on and on and on. It's ridiculous. And I'm sorry. Have a great week, and I will see you Monday.